How scary was it for you up there when they started ripping that place apart, when they started taking the plywood off the towers and stuff?
Oh my God. Dude, it's not our fault. That's all I can say. It was amazing, man.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're discussing the untold story of Woodstock 99.
We are going to get out of here.
Yes.
I think we're going to go.
It's time to go.
For this video, we're looking at the festival's history, legacy, and the events that occurred in 1999. Between August 15th and 18th of 1969, Bethel, New York hosted what is arguably the most iconic music festival in American history. Woodstock was a monumental success that mirrored the changing American culture of the time.
There's been no trouble. If you check the statistics out, you'll find that these people have lived 300,000+ people have lived together peacefully.
Many notable bands and artists performed at the event, including Grateful Dead, Creedence Clearwater Revival, The Who, and Jimi Hendrix, just to name a few. Many future Woodstock festivals followed, but none quite managed to replicate what made the original so special.
Where are you going to go from here? I mean, you're going to do another one?
If it works.
Organizers tried to recapture the cultural magic in 1999 for the fittingly titled Woodstock 99. It was to be held in New York's City of Rome, which is nearly 150 miles to the north of the original Woodstock site in Bethel.
I can't imagine a better lineup for the music that I love right now. And they're all in one place, and it's called Woodstock, and I get to go.
However, there were some major differences between this Woodstock and the original, aside from distance between them.
I mean, you had two main stages that were a mile from each other. They're on a black tarmac in the middle of nowhere. I mean, think about the irony of Woodstock on a military base.
Ticket prices and capacity issues caused problems. Passes for the multi-day festival bought in advance were $150, the equivalent of around $250 today, plus service charges. This was considered steep for the time, even for a once-in-a-lifetime experience like this, and those purchased at the gate were even more expensive. Of course, like the original Woodstock, many people may have snuck in, either through creative physical means or by making fake passes and tricking inexperienced security guards.
It's kind of anyone that, was semi-lucid and could write their name was eligible to be a security guard.
It's estimated that upwards of 400,000 people attended the festival, yet just under 187,000 tickets were reported as sold. This enormous discrepancy has been studied extensively, and it's suspected that the festival planners underreported the amount of tickets sold so they could pocket the profits. In fact, to this day, many people argue that it was this kind of runaway greed that influenced the entire tone of Woodstock 99 and resulted in its infamous conclusion.
Peace and love equals capitalistic venture. There you go. Let's call a spade a spade.
You see, concertgoers weren't just opening their wallets for the tickets.
Any food was taken from us, any drinks were taken from us.
Food and water were supposedly confiscated going into the venue, and the price of these necessities inside was exorbitant. A single bottle of water reportedly cost $4, or a little over $7 in 2022.
When a beer is the same price of water, as a kid, if I had a choice, I would choose the beer too. And then on top of that, the alcohol is actually dehydrating you further.
Many left the festival and traveled into the town of Rome to get supplies, but soon the local stores were flooded with festival attendees. As a result, they quickly ran out of stock. The water problem was exacerbated by the extreme heat.
If you don't like heat, don't come to Woodstock 99. It is hot.
Temperatures soared as high as 100 degrees. What's more, instead of a lush farm like Woodstock 69, the 1999 festival was held on an old Air Force base, which meant lots of hot concrete and little shade. Hundreds of people were treated for dehydration and heat exhaustion.
We're hot, we're sweaty, we're tired, we didn't sleep well. We're not starting on the best footing to start our, 3-day of adventure,
Free water was provided via fountains, but these had enormously long lines, with wait times ballooning to half an hour in some cases. Eventually, the festival goers turned to breaking the pipes to get water. Additionally, there weren't enough toilets for the massively inflated crowd, and they weren't properly maintained, so they began to overflow. The water spraying from the broken pipes mixed with bodily waste and created a sludge that people had to step through to use facilities. Some people even took mud baths to have some fun and cool off, not knowing that they were slathering themselves in human waste. It was also reported that the drinking water was tainted by excrement. And we haven't even discussed the music. The original Woodstock is an indisputable symbol of the peace and love counterculture movement, and the bands of the time certainly reflected that general attitude.
We're all sort of looking at each other saying, holy what is about to happen here?
However, rock music and teens in general were in a very different space by this point in 1999.
Columbine had just happened a few months before. The issue of gun violence was really starting to come into focus.
As a result, Woodstock 99 was packed with performers like Korn, Limp Bizkit, The Offspring, and Rage Against the Machine. Due to all these factors, an undercurrent of aggression pervaded the festival almost from day one, and it increased with each passing day as concertgoers continued to live through these less-than-ideal conditions. Violence ultimately broke out during Limp Bizkit's performance on the evening of Saturday, July 24th.
My suggestion is to keep your distance, 'cause right now I'm dangerous.
After some provocation by the band's lead singer, Fred Durst, the crowd went wild and let out their frustrations by moshing, assaulting women, and ripping apart the sound towers.
It's like a scene where zombies are coming over the castle walls.
People were rocking back and forth, and there was plywood, and they're trying to rip it off.
The bad behavior continued into the wee hours of the night, as the post-show rave also included violence and assaults. On Sunday night, the aggression continued into the Red Hot Chili Peppers set. The crowd was excited by the rumors that a mysterious unnamed artist might be performing to end the show. Attendees used candles intended for a reflective vigil to start bonfires around the venue.
To give flames to an audience that is 3 days into being treated like animals. It was not a very smart decision.
After the Chili Peppers played their encore song, Fire by Jimi Hendrix, things really started to get out of hand. And when it became clear there was no mystery closer, the wheels came off entirely. Security fences were destroyed, and their wood was added to the fires. ATMs were looted, and over $20,000 in cash was stolen. Vendor and merchandise booths were raided and set ablaze. An entire speaker tower was ripped from the ground and toppled over.
Oh my God!
It took hundreds of police troopers in riot gear to control the crowd and put an end to the pandemonium.
At this point, it was an emergency. I expected deaths.
When the smoke literally cleared on Woodstock 99, what was left was an infamous reputation. Aside from the damage to the site, police investigated instances of sexual assault that occurred at the show. 3 people died, including 2 from the heat. The third was hit by a car outside the venue. Dozens were arrested for negligent and violent behavior. And over 5,000 medical cases were reported by the New York State Department of Health, accounting for well over 1,000 cases per day. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. While the causes for this disaster are multifaceted, it seems everyone blames someone else.
They took zero responsibility. Their take was, this was just a few bad apples.
Some pointed the finger at the bands, particularly Limp Bizkit and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, for supposedly encouraging bad behavior and not doing enough to dissuade the crowd from acting out. Some blamed the concertgoers themselves, with organizer John Scher calling them, quote, the lunatic fringe that had, quote, lots and lots of angst.
They're the lunatic fringe. That segment of the population was both entitled and fearful of growing up.
Many, however, cite the greed of those who sought profits above all else as the culprit. Whatever the case, the disastrous festival tarnished the reputations of not only the Woodstock brand, but also an entire generation's music and attitudes. To this day, Woodstock 99 is seen as a symbol of 90s angst taken to its extreme.
When this is all over and done with, I think Woodstock is done.
Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.